Fight man in boxing, led the Flair Cops. Shout out to Goodfellas Sports TV.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you. Get 18% off. We out. All right, man, we back. Goodfellas Sports TV. Charlo pay-per-view numbers came out through Coppinger. He said 100 to 120,000. He said they still counting. I don't believe that. I think it did less than 100. UFC pay-per-view numbers came out through Coppinger as well, too. 700,000 globally. Anytime they go globally, I don't think those numbers did what they expected they was going to do either, or thought they was going to do. Let's talk about the numbers. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. They let it be known that the Charlo card went up against another UFC card. I think basketball was on that night. They said as well. Personally, I don't care about none of that. I think they did less than 100,000. They not still counting Thursday night going into Friday. All right. I don't think they did 120. I don't think they did 100,000. And the rule of thumb is what they report is usually lower than what it is. They never report exactly what the numbers were. The companies never come out and say, Fox will never come out and say, HBO will never come out and say, and etc. Showtime, The Zone, they'll never come out and say what the real numbers are. They will give you a guesstimation. If their guesstimation was 100 to 120,000, I'm going to say it was sub 100,000. I'm not hating. I'm just telling y'all how the business go. Like Coppinger came out less than 24 hours after the Porter fight and said they did, 350,000. People told me that they did 200,000, right around there. So, like I said, they said Deontay did 800 and some thousand. Really, he did 700 and some thousand, or maybe even less than that. All right, they never report the ideal number. Now, is that a win or a loss for the Charlo twins? For the Charlo twins, in their pocket, it's probably a loss. I heard they had to do 200,000 to break even. They probably didn't make no money on the back end other than a promotional fee. Wasn't no gate, wasn't no fans, wasn't no concession, wasn't no parking. They got none of that. And then you got to pay the venue. You got to pay people at Showtime. So in actuality, in reality, they really didn't turn nothing over as a profit. But at the same time, it was minimum promotion. No commercials really running. I didn't see no commercials till like the day of the fight or the day before the fight. Showtime did a bad job promoting the fight. It was a good card. They had two tremendous fights on there. And the undercards, they was okay. It was cool. But at the end of the day, Showtime failed the Charlo twins. They lacked to promote the fight. The best promoted fight I've seen, in a while was Mikey and Earl Spence, and they still only did 350,000. And the reason why is because they wasn't moved the right way. Okay, fix myself, get comfortable. They wasn't moved the right way. And when I say they wasn't moved the right way, they didn't fight on accessible TV. Earl Spence didn't get the chance to build his brand, or the Charlos didn't get a chance to build their brand on HBO like Adrian Broner did. Then you need to be built. If it's not on HBO, you need to be built on NBC. You need to be built on Fox. You need to be built on Spike or ESPN, and then get those advantages to be built on those platforms. So, of course, they want to sit there and they want to go on pay-per-view. It was a failure. They should have had that fight card on Fox, and they didn't put it on Fox, or CBS, which I don't understand why, but I guess the Charlo twins didn't want to take a pay cut. And then they end up not making no money on the back end, probably off the pay-per-view anyway. They took the pay cut, right now, and they had a big card on CBS, then their fan base probably would have grew. It probably would have grew a lot. But like I said before, the lack of promotion in the card, the lack of marketing, no fans in the crowd. I mean, they just promoted on the internet. The YouTubers like Fight Hype and Fight Hype, they was providing the the press conferences. Showtime wasn't putting it on they cable network. Showtime don't have a lot of subscribers to begin with. Remember the week before with Erickson Lubin, they did around they peaked at 150,000 and the main event peaked at 116 and it dipped at 108,000. So a regular show on Showtime didn't even do 200,000. You want me to believe that Charlo's did 120,000? No. I don't think people is checking for Showtime. I don't think people is checking for the Charlo twins. I heard some people down in Houston say they run some radio ads there. They didn't do that in Dallas, I heard. They didn't do it in Cali. They didn't do it in Indiana. They didn't do it in New York. So how are we supposed to know that they was fighting? If we hardcore fans, we know, but we talking about the casuals. It wasn't for a lack of effort. The Charlos are always in exciting fights. I guess they thought when they had them fight on Fox, the doubleheader, that they was going to blow them up even more. which it didn't really happen because they fought one time on there. And then Jamel came back and fought again, but Jamal went back on Showtime versus Hogan and Adams. You have to consistently feed them, and it's hard to consistently feed them on an accessible network when PBC got over 250 clients that want to get on there. And they got big fish like Wilder, they got big fish like Arrow, they got big fish like all those big fighters. But this is why when you got guys that's at the Joey Spencer level, the Ennis level, the Javante level, they should be fighting because they shouldn't be getting paid that much, which they getting paid a lot now, but they shouldn't get paid that much. When they was prospects, they should have been fighting on Fox and NBC and ESPN, HBO. They should have been consistently fighting where they built their brand up, where they can go to pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? But like I said before, it was they provided a good fight. The card was good until the second pay-per-view. Those two undercards was trash, but Figueroa and Vasquez was a solid fight. And Casmaor, he got Duke Mike out there expeditiously. The Neri fight was garbage. We didn't pay attention to him. And the Payano fight in Roman was just okay. But the Charlos did their thing, but the networks failed them. They want to just throw stuff on pay-per-view, and we just not going to buy bullshit. I heard J-Rock on Twitter saying, I have never seen fans hope that pay-per-view do so bad. Look here, what you got to understand is people tired of having to pay a price tag for a subpar product. We tired of that. Why shit just can't be for free? Or it just can't be on Showtime, but they would have did on Showtime, they probably would have did like 500,000 if they was lucky. Showtime don't do $1 million. They struggle to do $1 million, but the Adesanya and Paulo Costa fight, they said they did 700,000 globally, not in the U.S. So you got to understand, they broke a record in New Zealand for pay-per-view on Sky. I think it was on Sky, man, the box office or whatever in New Zealand. They got Sky. I didn't know that. So they broke a record in New Zealand, but globally they did 700,000. But how many they did in America? You probably got, I think, 300,000-400,000. So they didn't do that well Saturday night neither. They probably did 3 or 4. To be lucky, you probably can make a case they probably did 2. Talking about globally, you got to think about what pay-per-views was, in other countries. It was a pay-per-view in New Zealand, and all pay-per-view prices ain't the same. The ESPN price plus price if you ain't a member is $85. If you're a member, what is it? $80, $65, $75, whatever it is. In the Adesanya card, they didn't do well as well. So I'm not saying the Charlo card took money away from the Adesanya card, or the Adesanya card took money away from the Charlo card, but also they said basketball going on. So, they didn't have a great night either. And I'm not saying Asante is they top, ticket puller, because Masvidal and who did he fight? My man's Usman, the Nigerian NyQuil, y'all called him in the comment section. They did 1.3, they said. So, it wasn't a huge, disaster, because Adesanya and Paulo Costa, whatever his name is, they ain't American names. So should they be on pay-per-view in America, and doing, all that money? Jorge is an American name. He just fought, Diaz for the BMF title. People know him for fighting in the backyard, Kimba Slice and all that. So he has a name. So you're talking about 2 international, Brazilian and the guy that's from Nigeria, wherever he's from. I forget where Asante from. Ghana, wherever he's from, and he fighting out of New Zealand. Like, they international. They ain't supposed to be coming here and doing $1 million pay-per-view. So I'm gonna say they probably did anywhere from 200,000 to 400,000 pay-per-view. So it wasn't a good night for combat sports last Saturday. And anytime those pay-per-view numbers take longer than Wednesday to come out, the number's not good. Straight up and down. The number's not what they wanted it. But it's okay, UFC made their money. No fans in attendance. I think Adesanya got paid $690,000 plus a fight bonus or whatever he won. We'll see. They're not getting paid like the Charlo twins. Probably some of them dudes that's on the undercard got paid better than, some of the dudes that was on the title fights in UFC and boxing, but that's just how it's structured. But, long story short, neither one of the cards performed like they wanted to perform. You could say basketball took away from boxing, and boxing took away from, UFC, and basketball took away from all of them. So it was a lot going on. And also you had college football come back. I think that Saturday the SEC came back. So you had a lot going on that Saturday. So it wasn't an ideal Saturday to do a pay-per-view, but it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App is CJ Good 313. Shout out to the boy Vinny. Appreciate the Cash App. I got it this morning. PayPal in the description. Best way you donate to the channel is share the video. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Goodfella, Goodfella Sports TV. Let me know what you guys think about the estimated number as well in the comment section. Y'all know what the business is. We gone.